Hi everyone, Adam with BishopSheenRosaries here today, and we have a totally different type of video today. We're going to be looking at the book The World's First Love by none other than Venerable Fulton Sheen, taking chapter 6 and 7 of his book, The Virgin Mother and then The World's Happiest Couple, which is about the Holy Family. We're going to be looking at three things that Venerable Fulton Sheen, or at the time Archbishop Fulton Sheen, has to say about vocations, and three really good takeaways. So with that, let's hop right into number one. The first takeaway I want to highlight is that we are co-creators with God, and this is true not only if you're married, but also if you're in a religious vocation as well. You are co-creating either physical or spiritual life. Now, I do want to look at right now a quote from Fulton Sheen, and let's just start by saying a little aside that he talks very highly of women, but he does hold women to extremely high standards at the same time. So just keep note of that. The Annunciation depicts the example of women's vocation to supreme virtue. As when a mother gives birth to a child, she is a co-worker with divinity. She bears only what God can give. Now, what Fulton Sheen is saying is that when a woman gives birth, she's participating in the divine life, and she's co-creating with God, who is the giver of life. Now, perhaps you remember from Sunday school, there are three types of sacraments. You have the sacraments of initiation, which are baptism, Eucharist, confirmation, the sacraments of healing, which are reconciliation and anointing of the sick, and then you have the sacraments of service, which are holy orders and marriage. These last two are what we most closely associate with our vocation, and these vocation sacraments, they're all about bringing forth new life in the church. This can be both physically bringing forth new life in the family context, or it can be spiritually bringing it about in the case of priests and holy orders, or even in your taking of vows in religious life, whether you're brother, sister, whatever that might be, you're taking forth vows to foster the spiritual livelihood of those you are in service to, or the charism of that particular order. Now, I really love that Bishop Fulton Sheen is using the Annunciation, the first joyful mystery, to depict what it means to enter into your vocation. We all know this is Mary's yes, this is her fiat. And he goes on to say, there is no birth without love. There always has to be some love to bring forth new life. There is no physical birth without mothers. There is no spiritual birth without religious. God willed to show how necessary both virginity and motherhood were when he chose to enter into the world through Mary, through choosing this way for his only son. So just to wrap up this first point on being a co-creator, remember, every man has a vocation to fatherhood and every woman a vocation to motherhood, whether it's spiritually or physically, and there's always an action of choosing love. Now, with that, let's move on to the second point that Bishop Fulton Sheen makes in The World's First Love. And the second point is that we are called to submit in our vocations. And remember, we just said there's an action of love. Submission is not passive. It's actually a choice. I know submission has a negative context in 2023, but this is a good thing. It's actually both men and women submitting to each other, or someone submitting to the church in the case of holy orders. Submission requires acceptance or resignation to the divine will for the plan of the church that is higher than oneself. Mary shows this trait. She desires nothing for herself. She says, "Be it done unto me according to thy will." And yes, that is her saying to God, your will is higher and more important than mine. Her complete surrender shows that she does not desire anything for her body that is not also in accordance with the will of God for her body. This is very much like Ephesians 5, St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians, when he talks about wives submit to your husbands, husbands submit to your wives, just as Christ laid down his life for the church, so husbands, you need to lay down your life for your wife. This is a high call, but this is a really important message for anybody who's entering their vocation of service, their sacrament of service, to remember, you're not in this for yourself. You're in this for other people, and you're in this to serve. He makes the claim that women are happiest when they're able to bring forth life. He also states that women can feel greater emptiness than men because they have greater depths of love, and they have a greater ability to feel and love than man in the first place. He even says that women are capable of greater sacrifice than men because their love is more fully committed, more fully dedicated. These are the things that drive and motivate women. A woman's love is more constant and less fickle. So what do we need to do? We need to encourage and make straight the path for people who want to give generously. The answer, according to Bishop Fulton Sheen, is to model our family after the Holy Family, which is a tall order. He recommends that couples say the common prayer, which is the rosary, together as a family. Pray for those virtues you need in order to give generously, in order to be self-sacrificial. And Bishop Sheen even says, why is their marriage perfect? Why is the marriage between Mary and Joseph the exemplary marriage? Because neither has the right to each other's body, because they've both vowed to give themselves completely to God at the service of the other. No one has ever loved like Joseph has loved Mary, or like Mary has loved Joseph. St. Augustine says that Joseph and Mary surrendered their right to each other for a higher purpose, which obviously we know that that higher purpose was Jesus. If you have kids, pray with those kids. If you have a baby, pray by that crib. If you struggle to pray the rosary with your kids, here's a video linked above. Maybe have some suggestions and tips how to pray with those kids. Wherever you're at in life, whether you're preparing for your vocation, whether you're in it, you're married, you're a priest, you're a religious, you're a consecrated single person, I pray that you will take something with this back to your own life, and that you'll try to embrace that radical self-gift that is really called of you in your vocation. So thank you for sticking to the end of this video. If you like our videos, please like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to get a rosary for yourself or a friend, visit SheenRosaries.com. Thank you from us to you through Mary.